I'm live. I was just attempting to go live and it wasn't happening. Well, hello out there in the Matrix. This is RJ Kaminsky, and this is just day 2 of what I'm guessing is going to be a long run of interpersonal exploratory videos about my life and about the lives of humans and how we function and how we relate and what we eat and how we stay healthy and how we live and all kinds of other things. I am in my current home in Grass Valley, California, and it's been an amazing, amazing day. I woke up and meditated to start, blended up or juiced a stalk of celery, which got me about 16 to 20 ounces of fresh, pure celery juice. And I drank that down. And I don't remember what I did after that, but um, shortly after I had my, what is it called? It's a heavy metal detox smoothie, which was made up of a bunch of bananas and cilantro and some water and a bunch of blueberries and some figs I threw in there. Those aren't in the actual recipe, but I love figs, so I throw those in there. And an orange, some orange juice, fresh orange juice. And what else? Oh, yeah, spirulina and barley grass juice powder and one other thing. Oh, dulse, ground up dulse, which is seaweed. So that's a heavy metal detox smoothie. I do those every morning along with or after my celery juice. And it's just been a few weeks that I've started this strange new experiment as far as what I'm consuming during my days. And it has cleared up my skin incredibly. Was having a bunch of aches and pains and joint stuff, and um, that's all gone away. I wouldn't say it's just because of the juice and the smoothies, but maybe there's a few other things I changed, and I'll tell you about that in due time. So this series of videos I'm just calling RJ's Life, and phone is fucking for some reason, and it's going to be kind of off the cuff, spontaneous, in the moment, intuitive, and hopefully you'll find some value in what I'm talking about. I'm going to start today. I'm going to start right now with um, the beginning of my life. And I don't know how much time I'm going to take in discussing every step of my life, but we'll see. I'm really feeling anxious about or excited about getting to my current life and just philosophical discussion around different topics or just my opinions on some things. I think if I can approach certain topics in certain ways that I'm imagining, I think it's going to cause for some good conversation and really not argument, but just conversation and exploring um, different ideas around all kinds of fun topics. So I'm not veering entirely away from nutrition or green smoothies. I'm hopeful that I will be showing you how to blend some smoothies like I've done in the past and like you'll find on my channel here. Um, but right now, I really just want to unpack and unravel my life so you can know a little bit more about who I am and how I became who I am at this point in time. And then we'll go from there. So, um, I was born in Southern California in St. John's Hospital, a hospital that I've discovered is a place where a bunch of interesting folks are born and have been born. And I was born in 1967. I'm 51 years old right now, and um, it's just so strange for me to think about. It's 51 years on the planet, and I feel like a kid. And I don't think I just part of me hasn't grown up, and part of me has kept my youthful spirit intact. So, um, either is great, both are great, and um, I don't know what it's like to be a grown up. I just don't. I'm still just figuring my way through this life. So let's see. So I was born in Santa Monica and lived there for a couple years. My mom and dad got married and they were separated and divorced within the first year of my life because of some abuse issue, I guess. I don't entirely trust what my mom has told me in the past, um, as she has her own take on things, which is great. I think they divorced in my first year, and we hung around in LA area and then moved to Manhattan Beach near Long Beach, where I spent 5 or 6 more years of my life. So around about 8 years old, my mom and I, that was just us. I'm an only child. We moved up to Auburn, California, which is in the foothills up in the Sierra Nevada, about, gosh, I don't know, 8, 9 hours up from where I was born down in Santa Monica, and into a really rural country town back in the 70s. And we lived in a giant house, and the house was crazy haunted, supposedly, if you believe in that kind of thing. I'm still not sure how I feel about all that, but I had a lot of fear growing up because of all the stories surrounding the haunted house that we purchased and moved into. And, and then as I grew up and got into grammar school, middle school, and high school, I started using some of those stories for fun and to my benefit and to play and with and scare friends. And so it was a trip, man. It was a real trip. Maybe at some point I'll go into some of the stories around um, what it was like growing up in that house and what the stories were and what had evidently happened. I know one thing for sure because I got kind of a direct account from a person that found somebody in my house that had killed themselves in the house that we purchased. So that was just freaky, man. I was like 8 years old, moved into this house, and started learning about this freaky ass stuff. And from like 8 to 12 or 13 years old, I was pretty freaking terrified to walk around my own house by myself because it was just spooky. Um, so yeah, that was some youthful trauma. And then, oh boy, where do I go? I could talk for hours, I think, about um, some of this stuff. But I'll just say right now that currently in my life, I am looking to discover what I call alignment. And that to me is finding alignment with the part of me that is clear and connected to source, spirit, God, however you want to call it. I think I'll call it source. I'll change things as I talk. I'll call it different things at different times. But the alignment that I'm talking about is an alignment with the part of me that is free and happy and true and able to connect with the incredible miracle and joy that life has for any of us that open to align. And so as I'm seeking this alignment, I I get messages or I get insights or I get inspired action to do something. And this series of videos was something that was inspired recently to Um, well, it was inspired, and what I got was that, this is an opportunity for me to, instead of writing my entire life story and for myself and experiencing and processing that way, I thought I would put a video series out to the world or whoever the heck ends up listening here on the internet to share my story. And in doing that, what I'm doing this for is because I know that in speaking about my life and myself and sharing and feeling and exploring and being as honest and true and as real as I can be, there's some value in that for me. Uh, I've just discovered through my life and through counseling and therapies that I've done, if I can talk from my heart and from a deep and honest place, I generally can discover more about who I am and what I am wanting in this life. So that's part of why I'm doing this. I don't know how long I'm able to shoot these videos for at a time. So I think I've given enough today or enough in this video to, I don't know. It satisfies me at the moment, and I don't want to go too long because I don't know the rules here yet with YouTube and their live videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this and then do my best to pick up on my next video, which will be take three, I think. This is take two, and it's just going to go on and on and on. I'm going to do my best to stay connected to where I leave off and where I start up again in case there's a subject that's interesting to you that I don't want to just miss things. But, anyways, we got to the point where I was, 8 or so years old and um, living in that house, Auburn, California, the haunted house. And I think what I'll do is on my next video, I'll start with the stories and the interesting experiences I had in my haunted house and tie that into my emotional experience and um, even bring in some of my early nutritional experiences with my mom and how I probably developed some of the challenges, issues, and then gifts around food and healthy eating and healthy lifestyle and all that. So, haunted house, that's where I'm going to start on my next video and stay tuned. And thanks for those of you that find me and are listening and are interested. And please feel free to comment and um, I'll address anything that you may have to share as best as I can. And until next time, be well and um, talk soon. Okay.